Welcome to this mini project. So what we want to do now is we want to use the exact same data set of billionaires from 2019. And we now want to use ggplot2 in order to try and visualize the data set. So if we come in here and say ggplot2, so this is the package that we're going to use. We might also need to use dplyr package. And now let us have a look into this data set. So in this data set, so it contains several columns. So we have the name, the net worth, the country, the source, the rank, the age, as well as the industry. Now, let's say we want to shift our focus and group these billionaires because this data set is very huge. For example, if you can try to look at the number of columns in this data set and look at the number of rows, and let us say billionaires. Okay, so you can see we have 2,755 rows. So this is a very huge data set. So what we want to do in this case is we want to shift our focus and say, let us try to group these billionaires by industry. Okay, so we're gonna group them by industry by looking into their net worth. So in each industry, we want to take the top 5 richest billionaires. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to be making use of the dplyr package. So if you come in here and say, for example, we say top 5, let's say billionaires. Okay, check my spelling. So now we want top 5 billionaires. So in this data set, we want to use the pipe operator. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to arrange by the descending of net worth. Okay, after that, we want to group these billionaires by the industry. Okay, so after we group by industry, we want to take only the top 5. And in order to do that, we are going to use this function, slice function. So we are taking the top 5. So we come in here and say 1 to 5. So what we did here is we simply just finded the subset grouping by industry. Okay, of this from the list of billionaires. So what we did first is that we wanted to arrange the billionaires by descending net worth, which means we want to take only the top 5 billionaires, and we created the groups by industry. So let's run this. And now let us look here, the head of this data set. And if you run this, now what you observe here is that we are seeing that we have Elon Musk. However, let me try to expand this a little bit. And let me try to run this again so that we can also look at the industry. Now, if we look at the first few rows of this data set, you can observe here that in this industry, so this industry, which is automotive industry, okay, so we have managed to create the groups by industry, and you can see that the richest billionaire by the net worth is Elon Musk. Following is Susan, then it's Stefan. Okay, and we can also see that they're from Germany, and also this one is from China, and so on. So we have managed to create the groups by industry. Now, let us try to visualize these billionaires. So we want to use ggplot, and we want to pass in this data set, top 5 billionaires. Now, when we come in here, let us specify the aesthetics inside ggplot function. And let us say we want to fill by industry. Okay, so after we fill by industry, we have to specify what we want in the x-axis as well as in the y-axis. Okay, because we are going to use the bar plots, so we will have additional arguments. So we come in here and say we want their name in the y-axis, and in the x-axis we want the net worth. Careful with the spelling. Okay, now we say we want to visualize this using a bar plot. Okay, now let's start by saying we want, for example, to say the position is, we want a stacked bar plot. And now we have this additional argument. So if we explicitly set this argument to identity, so it has to be a small I, so identity. What we are saying here is that we want to tell ggplot2 to skip the aggregation and we will provide our own y values. As we have done here is that we want to provide our own y values. Okay, so we have to have this additional argument which is stat, and we want to set it to identity. And let us try to run this. Now we are able to have a sense of the top 5 billionaires by industry. Okay, so I'm going to try to zoom this so that we can see these names clearly. So you can see we have managed to view the billionaires by industry. So you can see in automotive industry, it's represented by this color. Okay, so if we come in here, we can see here there is Elon Musk with this color. And we can see that the richest is Jeff Bezos. So this was a list from 2019. And we can see that in the industry is technology. So that is how you can try to look at the top 5 billionaires in each industry. We can also go ahead and create other groups. So let me try to, so that we can be able to see the coding. Okay, so now we can also try to group by other variables. So what do I mean by that? So now if we come in here and instead of filling by industry, what if we come in here and say fill by country? Okay, so if you try to run this, now what is this doing is that we are looking at the top 5 billionaires grouping by industry for different countries. So we can see from this bar chart, okay, that the most richest billionaires, top 5 billionaires by industry, they come from the United States. Now we can also have a look at this green bar for Bernard Arnault family. So you can see it comes from France because we have managed to fill by country. Okay, we can also fill by source, looking at the source of these billionaires. So looking at the top 5 billionaires, now looking at the source. Okay, so I'm going to try and control this. Okay, now let us look at the source. And if you try to run this, so you can see now we are getting a very, very huge. Now, if we can look here, we can see that, okay, Jeff Bezos, of course, his source is Amazon. Okay, so he's the one who just become visible and clear. So this is a list of from 2019. And we can also, if we can look at Bernard Arnault's, for example. So you can see here that Bernard Arnault's, so if we come here on this, legend, okay, so we can see that it's LVMH. So, and also we have Bill Gates, okay, because now we have managed to fill by source. So this is their source of net worth. So this is quite a very cool project just to play around and try to understand. But what we can also do is that in this case we have created the stack bar plot. We can also try to come in here and say, what if we come in here and say Doge? Okay, and if we run this, now what has this done is that this has created what we call a grouped bar chart. Okay, so if you come in here, it has created a grouped bar chart. So we can also, so I'm going to keep on trying to shrink this so that we can understand everything and show everything. Okay, now instead of source, let us say industry. So we want industry. Let's clear the console. Now we want to say industry. Now we have this very huge grouped bar chart. So now we can be able to come back here and look at all these billionaires and see based on the industry. Okay, now what we can see here, okay, we can already see Jeff Bezos, but also look at Warren Buffett. So if we can come here, for example, to Warren Buffett, so we can see that the industry is finance and investments. So there are also other billionaires, but here we simply just took the top 5 because this was a huge data set. So you can also go around and try to play with different groups using ggplot2.